recently I've encountered a manager in operations where when we were reviewing the attrition of her particular site, and I've asked a question, why is it that among all sites of the company, your particular site in your particular department has a very high attrition rate? And you know what? She told me point blank, it's because HR is not doing their job. And I realized that the manager who's talking, doesn't understand that being the site director or being the site leader, it's everyone's responsibility, especially her, to be able to understand what's happening on the site, right? Attrition means that people is leaving the organization. You cannot put blame into one particular department or one particular person because of the fact that people are leaving. You need to understand, why are the people leaving? You need to work with your stakeholders. You need to work with the team to be able to be grounded and really understand what's happening. You cannot present ideas without even knowing facts. You cannot provide suggestions uh, without even understanding what's really happening on the ground. So I realized that the mindset of this person is really more of blaming others, when in fact, if you're working as a team, what you need to do is you need to collaborate.
Good day. Welcome to the Leader's Edge talk show. Today is episode 11, featuring an HR guru, a well known figure in the HR community in the Philippines. And he is none other than Coach Darwin Rivers. He is an HR executive life coach influencer, industry leader, as well as global speaker. He founded and is the president of the Philippine HRG Incorporated, Philippines HR Group. He has a huge network. His following, you can number it up to tens of thousands because people do follow him, not only in Facebook, in LinkedIn, and practically all of social media. Now, Darwin, I have met you several years and we met several times at different events of the People Management Association of the Philippines. And even then, I have been wanting to ask you this. So I waited several years before I can ask you finally, Darwin, what is it that started you on your journey of deep, deep involvement with the HR industry?
Miss Dinah, before I answer that, I would like to thank you for inviting me in this podcast and being able to share my story. With regards to your question, I started my career in operations. I was a call center agent and moved up to becoming a team leader and operations supervisor. And during the time that I was in operations, I realized that I was doing critical facets of HR already. I was conducting interviews for my team. I was training my team members. I was conducting performance management. I'm also handling employee relations and labor-related issues by my team members. And that prompted me to realize that this is something that I really wanted to do. Aside from having a background, an educational background in sociology, which is the study of people, I realized that in HR, there is a certain opportunity for us not only to do work and help organizations grow, but really to develop people. And that's where my passion and motivation is coming from. Also, I realized that being in HR, there is a saying that if you want a stable career, go to HR because HR opens and closes the company. So
Oh,
there's nothing more stable than that.
wow. Yeah, I got it. I got it. Now, Darwin, I was so struck by the topic that I saw you, in LinkedIn dealing with, and people are listening to you. And because of the signs of the times, we're dealing with a lot of toxicity in the workplace. And I love the topic that you have chosen, how to get along well with others. And Darwin, I can imagine this is not an easy thing for anyone to do because there are always some people who are difficult to deal with. It could be bosses, it could be coworkers, or even your customers. So, Darwin, can you give us your tips, or at least, let me start it this way. Can you give us at least two examples, actual, toxic situations in the workplace, or difficult to handle people wherein you were there and you were able to somehow smooth the situation and resolve the issues. Please.
Well, that was a very good question, Ma'am Dinah. But prior to me, before me answering that, let me just give you a background. I think the topic is very much timely because given the fact that we're now working post-pandemic under the new normal, and over my 20 years of experience working in HR, it was only during the past 2, 3 years that we've seen people shifted from the kind of work that they're doing, from previously working on site, then from work at home, and then again trying to assimilate themselves again working on site and working with people. And during the past 2, 3 years, it was very hard because because they're working at home, they're normally working in silos. There are very little interactions between team members and leaders, management, and whatnot. So because of that little interaction, I say not really little, but let's say limited interaction, people tend to forget the essence of working well and the essence of being in a team. Um, when I was asked about this topic, I remember I went to Miriam website just to make sure that I have the definition of what teamwork and working well with others is. If I'm not mistaken, working well with others is really more of this is work done by a group of people or associates, and all subordinating personal prominence to the efficiency of the whole, meaning everyone is taking aside their egos, their biases, and agreeing what is the best for everyone, what is the best for the whole. Now, it's hard if you've been working in silos, or if you're working without any face-to-face interactions, because you would normally have limited understanding of who you're working with, limited understanding, uh, our emotional connections with your bosses, with your team members, and with anyone in the office. Now, going back to your question, Ms. Dinah, sorry, I have a long intro about this because I'm very passionate about this topic. There are several instances where I've seen that team teamwork is not it's not being effective, or a member of a team is not able to understand the value of teamwork. On top of my mind recently is when one of the managers in our organization. I work in a BPO company. I've actually been working in the BPO industry for more than 20 years, from operations to HR. I've met a lot of people with different personalities. With regards to the question, most recently, I've encountered a manager in operations where when we were reviewing the attrition of her particular site, and I've asked a question, why is it that among all sites of the company, your particular site in your particular department has a very high attrition rate? And you know what? She told me point blank, it's because HR is not doing their job. And I realized that the person, the manager who's talking, doesn't understand that being the site director or being the site leader, it's everyone's responsibility, especially her, to be able to understand what's happening on the site, right? Attrition means that people is leaving the organization. You cannot put blame into one particular department or one particular person because of the fact that people are leaving. You need to understand why are the people leaving. You need to work with your stakeholders. You need to work with the team to be able to be grounded and really understand what's happening. You cannot go you cannot present ideas without even knowing facts. You cannot provide suggestions uh, without even understanding what's really happening on the ground. So I realized that the mindset of this person is really more of blaming others, when in fact, if you're working as a team, what you need to do is you need to collaborate and uh, create solutions. That's one. Uh, Second would be, because you're asking for tools. Second example would be, um, I on top of my mind right now, I would remember a recent incident where an employee is asking one of our HR site leaders, how come that his promotion is very slow in the organization. He said that he's been in the organization for so many years, and he felt that he's being passed on the opportunities that the organization has. He felt that for the toll gates that he's attending, when I say toll gate, this is the evaluation being given on a regular basis, to check the the readiness of the person to be able to be into a leadership role or a management position. This person is claiming that he's being passed opportunities because there's certain biases. But looking into all the notes about his previous tollgate session, I realized that there are certain comments made by department leaders that is saying that this person is hard to work with, this person is difficult to be with, this person is not a team player, this person would normally put blame into other people. So things like that. So basically, he doesn't understand that the reason why opportunities is being passed up from him is because there is a need for him to look into his behavior. Why do people perceive him as a person that is difficult to work with? Why does his leaders see him as someone that is not a team player? Why is it that during Paul Gates, even though he has spectacular evaluation scores, the soft skills would normally be on a low score, even though he has good evaluation scores with regards to his matrices. So these are the type of things that people should understand. Working well with others is the essence of teamwork. And there are really different components when you say how to work well with others. And that's what I would like to discuss in this podcast, Miss Dinah.
so far, no, I get the idea that there are really several different situations in different companies, and it becomes even worse. The more people there are, the the more varied and the more what we call diverse situations will be. And have you noticed something, Darwin? For example, if the leader is a what we call kind-hearted, very caring, understanding leader, does it affect, let us say, there are people who are really difficult all around the company or the department, but they have this leader who is very kind, very understanding. Does it have somehow, does it diminish or does it somehow improve on the bad behavior or negative behavior of the people around the department?
I would say definitely, Miss Taina. We have to remember the fact that your team members reflect the kind of leader that you are. This is more of your team members mirror who you are as a leader. If you're kind-hearted, if you're generous, if you are able to clearly communicate and empathize on each and every situation, then your team members would be able to imbibe that particular character of yours. Because it's really it's proven team members mirror their leaders. The character of the team would fall on what kind of character the leader is.
Oh, all right. That's good to know because it simply means that we need to what we call raise the level of awareness of our leaders that their their attitude as well as their what we call way of treating the way they treat the people around them will also impact on how the people behave. Would that be correct, Darwin?
Very much, Miss Diana. Um, let, let, let me share this to you. I always believe that for you to become an effective leader working in a team, you should be able to effectively interact with your team members. When I say effectively interact, you need to communicate well. You need to listen well. You need to be able to collaborate and cooperate with the people that you're working. It's also important as a leader, you understand what are the cultural background of these people. Uh, uh, Likely, for example, for me, I am working with a global team. I have team members across the Asia Pacific, US, Latin America. I need to understand what are their cultural background because the way they think and the way they act also being influenced by a type of culture of their particular geography. We need to understand that. Also, being a leader would require you to that whenever you're making decisions, you have to make decisions that is clear and understandable. Meaning you have to make decisions that would benefit everyone and not just a particular team or team member. You have to make sure that you also respect opinions of others because in every decision that you make, let's say you're rolling out a policy, you're recommending changes, or you're creating proposals, there will be people who would be who would challenge you, who would be very adamant of your idea, who would think that their idea is better. Listen to them. Listen to them on what they would be saying. Don't shut them off. Understand where they're coming from. Listen to the knowledge that they're imparting and weigh things. If they have a better suggestion, if they have a better opinion or a better recommendation, then acknowledge that. That would put the person into a position where he feels that he is valued by you, and you're not just you're not just making decisions out of a whim. You're actually collaborating with everyone. It's also good that we be reminded that you have to be flexible. You have to be flexible as a leader. Not only understanding the cultural background, but also knowing the person, each and every team member that reports to you. Understand where are they coming from? What are their personal background? Is a person a single parent? Is what his economic status? What are the things that he has done in the past? What kind of influence his thoughts and ideas? Being flexible on managing the team, understanding people is also very important to be an effective leader.
Well, thank you, Darwin, for that. And I was listening carefully to you, and I thought, oh my gosh, it's a tall order for any leader to do that. Because, of course, as a leader, they have so many things in their mind. I mean, it's not only that. I mean, their scope of responsibilities are really huge, and especially if, for example, the business is not doing very well. So it would be weighing heavily on his mind. And many times, these leaders don't want to, but they get what we call bad in a bad
Directives.
mood.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they shout and all that, and of course it will also affect the people, but we do know for a fact that it doesn't happen often. Now, in some cases, though, I have heard and I have seen some leaders leading by shouting. Now, and especially here's some, I tell you, some examples that I can mention to you. You wouldn't believe it. All the more they will shout when there are other people around because they want to show off that they are the boss. So all the more that they will shout. It's like it's already a habit with them. Now, without naming names, in all your years of experience working in your industry, have you encountered certain bosses with similar character traits?
Ma'am Dinah, I've encountered a lot of bosses like that. Not my direct bosses, because fortunately for me, my direct bosses in HR are really exemplary leaders. But I've encountered leaders in different departments who shouts at employees, who would put you in a bad light in meetings, who would uh, really say things that is foul in front of you with so many people in the room. And you know what? I realized that they're just doing that because they it's more of a defense mechanism, because in reality they feel lost. They're at loss on the situation. They don't know what to do. They feel that the only way to make people follow them is for people to fear them. And that's not the type of leadership that would be effective. We've seen leaders in our government, in our schools, in businesses. Successful leaders are those people that are loved and respected, not those that are leaders that are feared. Um, Ma'am Dinah, I would like to share to you what Sir Richard Hackman, this is a famous psychologist, he shared in one of his books. He shared the 5-factor model when it comes to working well with people, and I think that leaders should be able to understand this. Number one, um, are you really heading a team? Are you really managing a team that has clear boundaries, that the members have interdependence with each other, and uh, does each of the team members know their significance in the team? Number two, do you have a clear direction and purpose. Because if you do not have a clear direction and purpose, and you're not able, and your team member doesn't know that, then what happens? They're all working in silos. There's no direction. They make decisions on their own. Third is that there should be a team structure. That's the reason why organization structure is very important. Whenever we make an onboarding of new employees, we inform them this is the org structure. Reason is that so that they know what our the command responsibility is. The chain of command is very important for everyone because a person should know who to follow and what and who to be accountable for. If you explain to them the team structure, they know who they will be accountable to. Also, as a leader, you have to make sure you implement programs that would involve, would say, strong social connections. That's the reason why it's important that, and this is from my own experience, whenever I start meetings, I don't start the meeting with the agenda first. I would like to make the meeting, especially if the meeting is with my direct reports and there's no clients or there's no other departments uh, present. I would first start the meeting by check-ins. I would like my team member to tell me to check in what are the most significant things that happened to them outside work, in their lives outside work at that particular time, so that I would understand where they're coming through, what will be their mood, or I would be able to praise them. Oh, you've done something productive during the weekend. You attended your daughter's graduation, or you have volunteered in a social economic program. So those type of things, I would like to understand first. What are the things that my team members are doing outside work? I call them check-ins. And after check-ins, that's the time that I go into the meeting proper and discuss what are the what are the things that needs to be discussed, or the part of the agenda. And then, of course, as a leader, you have to coach and mentor them. And you would not be able to coach and mentor them if they do not have respect towards you as a leader, and you won't be able to effectively mentor them if they feel that you don't have any clear directions for their own career and for the whole team.
Wow, I heard you, and that is so good. I just wish, that many leaders will follow that, because it will reduce by, I don't know how much percentage, but it will definitely reduce the tension and the toxicity in the workplace. Now, Darwin, have you come to a certain situation wherein, right in front of you are maybe two quarreling, or two people who are really getting at each other's throats, and what did you do to somehow calm them down and start to respect each other again? Or have you encountered certain situations like that?
Yes, Ma'am Diana. As you know, as HR professionals, we oftentimes wear the hat of a guidance counselor or the hat of what to say a principal. Di ba? We manage kids. I would normally call employees as kids because sometimes they act like children. They act like kids. Whenever I am in a situation where there are two people uh, have very conflicting views, or are already aggressively challenging one another, what I would do is pacify the situation. I would remind them that they are inside the company, and that I am the authority on the meeting, and I respect each and everyone's view, but I would give them time to present their ideas, or present their concerns, or present their inputs. I would remind them that we cannot resolve conflict if both of them will be shouting or would be talking at the same time. I would sincerely ask them to uh, be reminded that uh, at our work, being respectful is something integral to working with everyone. And if you cannot respect the person, then you should not be part of this organization. I mean, respect is something that should be reminded to each team member that even though how challenged you are in working with another person, you should never lose respect to that person. You are free to provide your inputs. You're free to provide your suggestions. You're free to provide your criticism, but never be disrespectful. Because if you cross that line, it means that you're not only disrespecting the person, but you're also disrespecting the company. And it would show the kind of character that you are, the immaturity that you have as a professional.
Wow, yes, thank you. But you know what, Darwin? It's because I believe it's your your what we call expertise in this subject is because of your number one, your experience, but I also give a lot of credit to your studies because you took that up in college and you're able to demonstrate this kind of leadership and understanding. I could tell earlier you were not judgmental when you were describing, for example, the bad tempered bosses or the bosses who were so unreasonable. You were not judging them. You were just, the way I heard you is you were simply describing that they are in that frame of mind because they don't know what to do. And I have to admit, Darwin, that that was very up for me, very impressive because it showed me immediately, it projected the kind of personality and behavior that you have. You are not the judgmental person. You have a deep, deep understanding of people, and you're able to give them empathy, understanding, and you're able to project that as well. And that's the reason why you're getting along with people around you, your peers. So yes, that's why. Okay, now I know why a lot of people like you because I've
Thank
been
you, Ms.
hearing, yeah,
Dina.
I've been receiving very positive feedback about you, and now I know why. Right. So now here are some instances that will really test the mettle of a leader, of how patient and understanding you are. What if there are some employees who do not want to be corrected, who want to be just left alone, or let me do I know what I'm doing, don't correct me, and then they would be so, sometimes even to the point of shouting at you. Have you encountered such kind of what we would call very irrational behavior?
Miss Dina, I think it goes to the kind of work and the kind of responsibility that this person would have in the organization. I mean, for example, in all of the companies that I've been with, there are two types of tasks. You're either a people manager or you're either a individual contributor. Most of the time, the reason why you're a people manager is because you're an extrovert and you're a individual contributor because you're an introvert. And I said most of the time, it doesn't mean that it's 100%, but because I've known managers who are introvert but are very effective leaders. Understand the kind of work that this person is doing. Also understand where is he coming from? Why is there such an opposition of following the policies, the processes, or the guidelines being provided to him or to her? Um, if the person still uh, after sharing the reason and you're able to resolve whatever issues they would have, and they still continues to be aggressive, then you need to put your foot down. And as a leader, part of being a leader is not only to be empathetic, but also part of a leader is being able to be how would I say, to be able to strong in character, or what we call there should be the will to make people follow and understand why the certain processes needs to be followed. There are a lot of deviant employees. We would understand that. They would not agree with the policy. They would not agree with the process. They would not agree with the person that they're reporting to. But again, we need to talk to them, understand them, and if there is no real inputs coming from them, then you have to remind them that they're working in a company. A company is composed of an organizational structure, and in that organizational structure, there are certain hierarchy, and within that hierarchy, the reason for that hierarchy is so that we all know the accountability of each and every person. If he or she does not respect the hierarchy, then maybe this is not the company or the job that he or she should be in.
Oh, yes. I love that. I love that last line. Yes, yes. Because sometimes, no matter how good, understanding, and wise you are, there are really cases when you just have to let them go. Because some of them are just, it's over the top. No matter what you do, they're just, they get to be so mean, and so they will bring trouble wherever they are. So yes, you do
And
have to.
Miss Diana, I always believe that there's really an opportunity or a company to swap to a person's personality. Maybe that person would is not thriving in your organization. Maybe he or she would be better off in another organization. Who knows? I've seen people who have had bad records in other companies, but when they move into another company, their work was spectacular. It means that of the culture that they have in your company is not aligned to their personality, and they're not aligned to their own philosophy, or really they don't fit into that particular culture, that particular mode. And maybe they would be more better off in another organization, because maybe in that organization it would uh, give them the opportunity to shine, wherein in your current organization there's no opportunity for them to really express or really show their talents or abilities or whatnot. Because also it's not because there's no opportunity, but because the behavior is not correct, right?
Yes.
There are we've for me, whenever I promote someone, aside from the obvious skill set that is a requirement for the role, I always look into the character of the person. Is this person would be able to manage a team? And is this person be able to really lead by example for the role that he or she would have? That's important for me.
Yes, Darwin, I'm curious about one thing because you have experience in both working face to face with people and then working also online, meaning that's like a hybrid already.
Virtual,
So,
correct, ma'am.
personally, which mode, the face to face or online, makes you a little bit more at ease or more comfortable?
There are schools of thoughts about it. Some people would say that having a face-to-face interaction is better than a virtual meetings or virtual connects. Um, I I believe that the mode of communication is secondary. What's important is how clearly you communicate and how clearly you're able to uh, uh, understand. Because reality is, like for my kind of work where I have team members across the globe, I cannot. It will be very costly for me to always go abroad and to always meet them and be able to understand each and every team member. Working using technology, using on a virtual environment is more conducive because even though it's not only it's practical, I'm able to connect with them real time. Notwithstanding the time zones that we have. Um, some people would say face to face is better. I would say that it would be dependent on the person who is communicating. The person is sending the message. Even if it's face to face and you're not able to communicate well the message that you would like to give to your audience, then it will be useless. But if you're even if you're working virtually and you're teaching virtually using a learning management system or a virtual you using technology in your meetings, but you're able to fully communicate well your targets or goals. You're able to communicate well the reason behind the why that we're doing everything, then it will be fine. There's no such thing as it's better or it's best.
Oh, all right. I love that because it tells me that you are able to adjust to whatever situation or mode uh, you find yourself in. Now, another curious part for me is how leaders, in your case, are you now being or using high technology, including AI and stuff like that, ChatGPT, and how does it affect the work performance, and how does it affect each of the what we call the person's capabilities now, or shall we say, are some of them getting scared that they might be replaced by AI, or how are they taking it?
I always believe, Magdalena, that the advances in technology is not really to replace people of their current work, but more of to help people be more efficient and effective on that particular work. Also, technology would create other opportunities. It means that what are the things that computer or AI cannot do that people as a human being can? We are more strategic. We can think out of the box. We're able to understand emotions, understand behavior. Computers doesn't do that 100%. And I'll be honest with Dinah, I myself is learning, although I've been using technology for quite some time, when it comes to chat GPT, when it becomes to robotics, AI, I'm really learning each day on how can this technology, advancement in technology, be used in the organization to be better. Um, I don't I don't buy naysayers saying that technology will replace human. I remember um, during my time when they said that when they invented calculator and computers, they've said that, oh, calculators and computers will make people stupid, idiots, because they're no longer thinking. They will no longer go to the library. They will no longer do the math. But reality is, because of calculators, calculating hard formulas in lesser amount of time would actually be more efficient for the company. Being able to use the computer properly and be able to get the information that you need is better than spending hours and hours in the library or going to one place to another just to get informations. So advancement of technology is always there to help people be more efficient, be more effective. In terms of ChatGPT, I believe that it's very much similar to the time that when calculators and computers were discovered. We just need to understand that this type of advanced technology would help us, and let's create an opportunity wherein using technology, we're also able to create more jobs that would support that particular technology. That's my take on it, from Diana.
I tell you, Darwin, I love your attitude because you're able to adjust in any kind of situation. What would you, Darwin? What have you heard of what they term as quiet quitting? It's like all of a sudden, oh my God, what? This person is leaving? Huh? Why? Have you encountered such kind of phenomenon there in your industry?
Yeah, I think quiet quitting, Ma'am Dina, is really a new term out of something that's been existent for the longest time. This is really more of, when we say quiet quitting, it's really more of just doing work that is expected of you. Meaning you're not doing work above and beyond. You're not doing extra effort. Some people would say that quiet quitting is okay because you're just providing the amount of work equivalent to your pay. Others say that quiet quitting is counterproductive because you basically are just being mediocre. You're not exerting any effort to be outstanding, to be more effective, to be more efficient. There's really no room for growth or thinking out of the box, or being more than who you are. But basically, the problem stems in how engaged the employees are. How do your company have programs that would be able to, one, develop them, two, engage them and make them feel that they are involved in the decision making of the company or your department. And three, do you have a benefit program that they value? Because some companies will just have a standard benefit program. And when this benefit program is not valuable to, because I each and every employee is unique. And if you just put a one program fits all, reality is there are certain programs that is not viable or helpful for a particular sector for employee. I'll give you an example. Some companies would give paid maternity leaves on top of what the government is giving. Because I've been with companies where, aside from the SSS benefit, the maternity benefit that the government is giving, the company is also providing additional payment because during the time of your maternity. But what if you're a guy and you feel, hey, why is that this particular benefit is I mean, it's better to be a girl because you have additional benefits, and I feel that I don't have that particular benefit or equivalent benefit for someone like me who's single or who's a guy. Or let's say there are certain benefits that is for for married people with children, wherein their children can go to school for free provided by the organization. What if I'm a single person? Um, what kind of benefit should I be getting? So what I'm saying is, look into your total rewards package. Is this something that your majority of your demographics is appreciating? Because if they're not using it, if they're not appreciating it, then maybe we should think of a better way uh, to for them to better appreciate it, or maybe add more or change or tweak whatever program you have. So look into the development, look into the engagement, and look into the reward system.
Indeed, I can tell you really are an HR guru. you, you, you know the ins and outs of the HR rewards. Now,
I
tell
learn
me,
from the best, ma'am. I learn from people like you.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Darwin, we are about to wind down now, but I'm curious about one thing. And this time I want you to dig deep into your experiences from the past up to now. What for you was the most challenging part of your job when it comes to dealing with people? What was the thing that really challenged you the most?
I think what challenged me the most would be developing people that limits themselves. The reason why I always advocate inspire HR or inspiring people is because it's very hard to develop someone who does not want to be developed, or is a person that would just like to be mediocre, or a person that would rather work um and not grow. I always believe that a sign of a good leader if you're able to develop and grow your employees from being an analyst, specialist, to a manager, to whatnot. Developing not only their careers, but also if you cannot develop their careers and develop their personality, develop
Yes,
their skill set, develop
yes,
their traits and character. But there are some people who are very hard to do so, even if you're coaching and mentoring them. You have to put extra time to be able to really instill the value of why you want them to be developed as a person. Again, you don't need to develop a person's career. You don't need to promote them. You just need to develop a person's skills and character. That's for me is more valuable that you can give and provide as a leader. Inspiring people, Miss Dinah, is something that human resource professional is. We're in that sweet spot where we're in a profession that's very noble, wherein we can not only develop but inspire people. If we continue to inspire people, then these people would realize that they can do more, that they can be more, and they
yes,
can grow more of uh they can be more than what they really think that they're capable of,
yes.
right?
I love your attitude and I love the way you express yourself. I can tell very quickly that you're speaking from your heart. It's not coming from a script or something that you heard, it's from your heart. Now, by the same token, what was the most rewarding experience you had in dealing with people?
Miss Diana, I have been fortunate and humbled in receiving a lot of awards in the industry, given by my peers and given by the industry. But the most rewarding that I would say that I've received are really the fact that people that I've known 10 years, 15 years ago are still my friends. People that I've mentored way back, I've seen how they uh, they grow their careers from becoming an entry level to now becoming a manager, senior manager, director. I've seen people whom before I used to manage them and now they're leaders of their own companies. That for me is more satisfying. That's for me fulfills me as a person. It's not the awards. It's the fact that one way or another I was able to inspire, teach, and somehow affect that person's life.
Wow, I'm really, really, that is what I would call that's living a purposeful life because here you are, and I agree with you. I mean, after so many years, and you see them grow and develop and succeed, and somehow you had something to do with their development. That must be the most fulfilling part of all. So, Darwin, as we are about to wind down, please, can you share with our viewers, and I know that we have global viewers, share your what we call advice on how leaders and even individual professionals can somehow become the best that they can be, especially in dealing with people.
Okay,
Your last few, yes,
I'll
yes,
make it
your
quick,
words of,
ma'am.
yes.
First is learn how to listen. Listen well to your team members. Second is that whenever you speak, speak where you will be understood clearly, and speak only essential things. Speak where you communicate properly to them. Never forget to empathize with the person. Always remember that each and every person has a struggle. Understand where they're coming from.
Mm.
Always be flexible. As a leader, you should be flexible. We would be put into challenging areas or challenging situations. We need to be flexible to adapt to that situation and bring our team to a better place. Always be patient. People will say a lot of things, but be patient and be focused. Learn how to negotiate, because that's one of the things that a leader should do. If you're hearing different opinions, negotiate, listen, speak, and negotiate to arrive to one decision for the whole team.
Wow.
Valuing individuals, ma'am, is very important. And lastly, have a sense of humor. That's very important. If you have a sense of humor, then you're halfway there. People will like you because of your sense of humor. Thank you very much, Ms. Dina, for giving me this platform to share my experience to all of your viewers. You can reach me through LinkedIn. Please follow me in LinkedIn, Darwin Rivers. Just search Darwin Rivers. Or in Facebook, I have a Facebook page. Just look for Coach Darwin Rivers. And please follow me for both LinkedIn and Facebook. Those are my official pages. Coach Darwin Rivers for Facebook and LinkedIn Darwin Rivers. You can also send me an email. My email is darwinrivers@yahoo.com. And I would like to invite everyone to please join us at the Philippines HR Group. In Facebook, we have almost 300,000 members already. And also in LinkedIn, we have a growing community also in LinkedIn, more than 25,000 already. So just add the Philippines HR group. And also, I would like to invite you guys, if you're available this coming June, I will be in Malaysia for a conference in June 11 and 12. I'll also be in Baguio for the ASEAN Summit, June 29, 30. And also this coming September, I'll be talking in Singapore for the HR Tech Summit. So those are the things that hopefully we'll be able to see each other.
Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, indeed, indeed. And I thank you for inviting us. And of course, to all the viewers out there, as you very well know, the the extent of Darwin's influence all over the world, you can tell. So, Darwin, I thank you so much for taking time out. I know just how limited your time is because of your voluminous duties, but still, you took time out to be with us. And I suppose you already know I sent you a message. We do plan to have you as one of the speakers or panelists in our live event. Yes, for yeah, what we call how to create a more positive culture in the workplace.
Thank you, Miss
So,
Dina. And thank you for this opportunity. And rest assured, I would always be available for you.
yeah, indeed, indeed, indeed. So thank you so much again, and we'll stay in touch, Darwin, because I love what you're doing, and I know that we will learn so much from you as well. So we really, really want to stay connected. Yes,
Thank you, Miss Dina.
right.
Thank you, everyone, and God bless you.
Yes, yes. And I want to remind our viewers that Darwin is our speaker for episode 11, season 12, and our speaker for episode 12, season 12, will be Colin Blackwell, and he will speak on intelligent management. Yes, yes, indeed. And of course, to everybody, as a reminder, learning is a never ending journey with limitless vistas. Good day, everybody.